Hey guys, it's me, Johnny Crims 2000, and welcome to my Let's Play of Dead or Alive 2. This is the version on the Sega Dreamcast, and this was initially released for the arcade in 1999, and then it was ported over to the Sega Dreamcast in 2000. I'm not going to start the game just yet here. We're looking at the press start button because I really want you to see the intro. It's a very, very cool intro, especially for a fighting game around this time. Now, I've already played the original Dead or Alive 1 for the Sega Saturn that was later re-released as part of the Dead or Alive Ultimate Collection, and then I also played the PlayStation version, which was sort of like a remastered, enhanced version of the same game. So now it's only logical to go to the next game in the series, Dead or Alive 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. As you guys can already tell, the graphics are a hell of a lot better than they have been from the first installment, the first two versions of the original game. And there's a lot more dialogue, as you can probably already tell here, just from the intro alone. The action is a lot faster paced, but we'll get to that when we actually get to see the gameplay itself. One of the cool thing, or one of the nifty things here, one of the interesting things about this game is here's your bit of trivia for the game. Although I think I have at least one more bit of trivia before the end of this game. You guys know how much I love my trivia in my Let's Play videos. Bit of trivia for this game is that Itagaki, who is the, I guess, I can't remember the director, he's the director and the producer. His name is Tomonobu Itagaki. Initially, the way that this game planned out was in Japan, when this game came out in 2000, in Japan the PlayStation 2 was on its way to coming out. We didn't get that until, I think, 2001, I believe. No, late 2000. Anyway, the story is that they were producing the Dreamcast version and the PlayStation 2 version around the same time, and they were planning to release this game for both the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2. Itagaki had a deadline that he had to turn in, I guess, a version of the game to the people that were making it. So he sent an early production version of this game to, I guess, to his superiors, and they unfortunately took that version of the game and then essentially just mass-produced it. And this is the version that we got, the original version of Dead or Alive 2, which is what you see here. Now, I say that because there's another version of Dead or Alive called Dead or Alive 2, or another version of Dead or Alive 2 called Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore for the PlayStation 2, which I will also be covering, which is the completed version. So, I'll explain more about how it's the completed version, but essentially what you're seeing here, the Dreamcast version of Dead or Alive 2 is more or less the incomplete version, according to Itagaki. He meant to have a lot more content in this game, and because of that, you'll notice, or maybe you won't. I actually don't show it off because there's not really much to show off in this game. Just take my word for it that compared to the PlayStation version of Dead or Alive 1, which we saw last time, I mentioned how many unlockables there were in that game. Compared to that, this game is sorely lacking. There's not really that many. There's no unlockable costumes. There's no unlockable levels. None of the stuff that really made the PlayStation version of Dead or Alive 1 so special. So, you know, take it what you will. This game was still pretty awesome when it first came out. I still remember playing this game for the first time and seeing just how awesome it looked. Personally, I still think that this game looks amazing. And mind you, this is on the Sega Dreamcast, so, you know, these models here, and yes, this is a Dead or Alive game, so there is going to be some jiggle here, jiggle physics. Although I'm not exactly sure if they they reinvented a new graphics engine just for the jiggle physics the way that they did for the original Dead or Alive. So here's the cast of characters. As you guys can see, an interesting thing here is that we've added let me see, I think we've added Helena right there, who I'm actually going to be playing as next time. We've added Helena and we've added Leon, who is a new character in this game, and we've also added sort of Ayane, who I'm playing as in this playthrough in this game. Now, I mentioned in my Dead or Alive 1 game that Ayane wasn't in the original version of Dead or Alive 1. She was in the PlayStation version of Dead or Alive 1, but she was an unlockable character And initially I was going to play as her in the PlayStation version through my Let's Play of that version, but it's so ridiculous, there's so much to do, and it takes so long to unlock Ayane in that version that I just decided I'm going to hold off of playing Ayane for this game, and here she is. So, now an interesting thing about this game is that I mentioned before how Ayane is pretty much unlocked from the get-go. Leon here is a new character, and so is Helena. Now the interesting thing here is that we've added 2 new characters since the last version, since the PlayStation version, but we've also taken out 2 characters. The first character that was taken out, well actually we've added 3 characters if you include the boss of this game. We've added 3 new characters and we've taken out 2 characters. The characters that were taken out, it was Raidao, who was the boss in the first game. As, you know, to be expected, many bosses don't come back in fighting games. But we've also taken out Bayman, who was the guy with the beret, the grapple-heavy guy that always reversed everything you did in the original game. And he's been replaced by Leon. Now, Leon pretty much plays the same as Bayman. So, if you were a fan of Bayman, then you can pretty much just play as Leon. Though I'm not exactly sure why, if that was just going to be the case, if they play just similarly to one another, why they were just going to take him out. Now one thing here is that you'll notice right away that one of the things that this game added to the series, and one of the things that easily makes this series stand out even today by some other even high profile games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and things like that, is the stages themselves are so much better. They're so amazing. As you guys can see here, they're multi-leveled, which means that you can knock your opponent through and off levels to go on to lower levels, and it's just really, really amazing. Especially considering that this was on the Sega Dreamcast. This is 2000 we're talking about, people, and 1999 actually, when you're referring to the original version which came out in the arcade. This is still something that even to this day makes the Dead or Alive series stand out against like other 3D arcade games, you know, 3D fighting games and things like that. Even Soul Calibur, something like Soul Calibur, they do have, you know, the best that Soul Calibur has is really just ring outs, which is something that's been, you know, they've been doing that since the Virtual Fighter. So no game really has come this close to having this level of detail as far as the levels themselves are concerned. And I'm kicking all kinds of ass. Now Ayane is actually a pretty fast character. She's a very combo-heavy character, but a lot of one of the things that can throw people off by using Ayane is that some of her moves, her combos and things like that, end with her having her back facing the opponent, which can really throw you off, especially sometimes when you don't see it coming. Like when people first play as Ayane, they'll sometimes complain, like I did when I was first playing as Ayane. They'll complain like, "Why the hell are you facing away from your opponent?" But that can actually throw people off, and you do actually have some really cool moves with her facing away from her opponent, which is kind of funny to think about. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, this game feels a lot better than the original Dead or Alive games. Now, you may already be noticed just how fast this game is. It's very, very fast. It's a lot more fluid. The attacks and the holds and the throws and things just come out more fluidly. The combos are a little bit easier to pull off. And one of the things that I just love about this game, that they did with the gameplay with this game going forward, was just how much better the holds and the counter holds are now in this game. In the first game, your counter button and your throwing button was mapped out to the same one, and it really depending on how you press the button depended on what either you throw the opponent or you kind of did a little, like you held your arms out so you can counter. In this game, they're mapped out to different buttons. So you have a punch button, a kick button, a throw button, and a counter button, which make things so much more, a lot better in this game, and a lot more fluid. And nowadays, because of this game, you don't have to be so incredibly close to your opponent to throw them, which is something that was really annoying in the original game, because just so annoying. And look at that, we're already at the last boss character of this game. Yeah, this game is pretty quick, which is one of the things that I never liked about this series, honestly, going from, which started in Dead or Alive 2, was just the main story mode. You went from having the typical best 2 out of 3 match type, which was in the original game, the original Dead or Alive, to go into this style, which basically just, you only have to win once, which is, in my opinion, it was kind of lame, honestly. Here we are introduced to Tengu, who is the final boss of this level. Now this is where really the series went to like a supernatural thing. You didn't really see that in the first game. It was still Raidou. Really, Raidou was just kind of like a really strong ninja guy. In this game, you're facing off a Tengu, who is like this Japanese mythology demon guy. And in this game, I really make him look like a fool here. See, he's almost dead. Although I end up losing. Now, in my original recording, I actually ended up having to record this game a couple times because my recording was just messing up on me. In the original game, in the original time that I recorded this, I actually beat him in the first try, and I was so happy, and then so disappointed because the footage ended up not being usable. But Tengu's really not that bad. He's nowhere near as hard as Raidou was in the first game. Although it really just depends on what character you use. Like some characters obviously are much faster, like Ayane is here, which will make things a little bit easier when facing off against Tengu. Other characters like Base or even Genfu, who are slower, like their combos don't come out that easily. They're probably going to have a little bit of a harder time against Tengu. But overall, definitely much easier than Raidou. I did not need to edit out 5 minutes worth of footage here to bring you this Let's Play. Thank God. Now, one last thing that I will talk about here before the end, before I finish off Tengu here, is that this game also had a bit of a controversy when this game first came out because hackers found a way to make Kasumi, who is the main character of the series. Kasumi's the ninja girl with the red hair and the blue dress. They actually hacked away, or they found a way to hack her without any clothes, which caused a lot of controversy, especially got Tecmo and Team Ninja really pissed off. And you may be wondering, you know, well, what's the big deal? And it's really strange because Itagaki, who is the director, who I mentioned before, he was the director and the producer of this game, really of this series. He has this strange little obsession with the Dead or Alive girls. He claims that they're his, you know, almost like daughters. So he's really possessive of them. I really don't know how else to explain it. But when that came out, when this game first got hacked, and you know, hackers found a way to make a nude model of Kasumi, he got really defensive, and that's why going forward, now you're going to see, I think it started with Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore, I may be wrong, but from this moment on, in the entire series of the game, there's this big, long message at the end, when you first boot up the game, that has this disclaimer saying, you know, please don't copy our game and things like that. And this is the reason why, because people hacked this game and made Kasumi be naked. So, hooray for hackers? Not sure really what to think of that. So anyway, guys, that's it for Dead or Alive 2. I know it was extremely short, but I love this game. If you have a Dreamcast, you should definitely get it. It's a lot of fun. I think it's definitely a lot more accessible than the original Dead or Alive. So if you haven't gotten to Dead or Alive 1 yet, I would definitely skip that and go to this one. It's a little bit better in my opinion. But anyway, guys, next time we will be playing Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore for the PlayStation 2. So that's it for me. I will see you guys in my next video. Alright, peace out. As always, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to get more stuff from me. In the meantime, if you like my videos, be sure to find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Raptr, and Screwattack.com to see the other gaming related content that I upload. Info is in the description. Who knows? Maybe you'll like my stuff. Maybe. Maybe.